what I wanted to talk about was this new jail. We've heard a lot of things going on behind the scenes with it, but it's been a while since we've heard from you. So there's been some unsolicited proposals. What do you want in a new jail? Because your voice needs to be heard on that.
I want no part of an unsolicited bid, although it's legal. I just don't like the message that it sends to the public. It looks like it's, I don't want the public to ever feel like there's like home cooking someplace where somebody has a deal already in place, ready to go through an unsolicited. What we want to do is we want to RFP the project. We want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to bid. And we have some great companies in Jacksonville. We have companies everywhere that can do it. So it's going to be good to see that. I think we're building an RFP already to try to look for a consultant to help us, navigate through the process. Super excited about that. But, being a part of it and having a say-so, because we're going to run it, I think is very important. So if people are wondering why that is, that's the reason why. I think us running it, we know what we need, and the RFP process is going to be the absolute best way to do it.
Absolutely. So, you know that a lot of people, there have been some protests saying they don't want a new jail, asking for something like a renovation. How do you respond to people, knowing how needed a new jail is? How do you respond to the people who say, well, why don't we have a voice in this? I think the biggest thing for me to be able to say is I know what goes on there, and I know the challenges, the issues. And a lot of times renovations cost more than the actual new construction, because repairing everything, fixing foundational issues, that's problematic. And this is something that, one, it needs to move from where it's at, in my humble opinion. And I think there's a lot of people around town that hold that opinion. So we'd like to get it in a place where we can put all three complexes together. We have our community transition center, we have the prison farm out of Montgomery, and we have the Duval County Jail, then we have JREC. They're all in different places. So our corrections officers, they have to go in all these different places to work. I'd like to build one complex, in a campus-style complex, where they all go to the same spot, be more efficient, be good for our partners at the beach, so we're not necessarily interested in Montgomery because it's so far away. If I have a police officer in Mandarin and he has to go out of service to take someone to the jail, that would put him out of service for about 2 hours. And that's just too long for that to. So we'd like to get it someplace where we can build an entire complex, first appearance, mental health resource center or check-in facility, a real clinic where we have beds there to deal with the issues. There's a lot of things that I know that we need, and it needs to be in the same complex. And that's another thing. Some people have said, well, are you going to put it in an underserved neighborhood? Do you have a place in mind?
We have some places in mind, but here's what I've learned, actually. This is a fact. No one wants a new jail, no one. And I don't even like to use underserved because I know how much we do in communities all across this city. No one wants it. So it's going to take us talking to the community, whether it be public forums, whether it be in our town hall settings. It's going to be us talking to the community and explaining to what it's going to be like when we narrow down some locations. It's going to take us talking to the community, telling them why and where and how it's going to be built. But that's why these professionals are out there that build these places so they don't look like a traditional prison. So I believe information sharing, I believe explanations about why we're doing certain things are going to be necessary, and we're prepared to do that.
Very good. And, I know that Councilman Salem has said one thing he wants to see is, you mentioned the word campus, he has as well, so that mental health services are there, medical is there too. So it sounds to me like there's not just, it's not just an issue of housing inmates, it's making sure that they're also getting dignified treatment too.
Yeah, they're pretrial detainees in most cases, except for the ones that are sentenced to less than a year, they go to our prison farm. But pretrial detainees, you want to make sure they have proper medical, or they have a clinic. Right now in the Duval County Jail, there's something there that they use as a place to go, but there's not beds there. There's no place where we can house someone that's sick, where we can have maybe a doctor come in to there and treat them. Now we have to we have to go outside the jail. Security reasons, that's not ideal. We'd like to be able to keep them in that facility. But we want to make sure that we treat them like pretrial detainees. I know they're accused of a crime, but they're not convicted yet. unless you're at the prison farm. So we want to make sure that we have all that stuff available. And also, the mental health issues always, it's become a law enforcement issue when it's not a law enforcement issue. So we want to be able to partner with people. We want to be able to take them, check them into a location that keeps them separate, and start the process of getting the treatment that's needed, go through the judicial system, the process, and see how we can help improve those lives.
It also saves money if their issues are resolved and they don't keep getting arrested over and over.
Exactly. And you know, the big thing about that is a lot of people don't understand that if you violate the law, we have to do something, and we're going to do something. Then after that, then everything that takes place after that, you know, the care, that's up to our medical community. And I've always said this, that there's a missing piece somewhere, and it's been given to law enforcement when it shouldn't be. There's a missing piece when it comes to, and this is not to beat up on our doctors. I love our doctors take care of us. But there's a missing piece somewhere where the medical community has to help pick this up, you know, and maybe we can head some of that off, you know, before we have to put them in a jail setting.
We also learned that Council President Randy White initiated a liaison in Councilman Lanin to be kind of that, like that liaison between the city and your office. So it's really rolling now, it feels like, because that's a big step.
It is. It really is. And what's good about it also, it gives the sheriff, the council, and the mayor's office true partnership in this process, you know. And I know the undersheriff and the chief of staff talk all the time. The mayor and I talk. We don't get to talk as much, but we talk and we discuss these issues. So it does feel like it's moving along. Now we're in the process of, like I said, creating that RFP to be able to get someone in here to help us with the process and get moving. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Very good.
And I don't really, and to be honest with you, I don't care how long it takes. I'm not in a giant rush. I don't want to kick the can down the road. It needs to be done. But I'd rather accuracy than speed. That's what I would rather see happen.
Is there anything else you want to wrap up with or say about this jail process going forward?
No, just the fact that we're going to be transparent. We're going to talk to our community about it. I think it's important for us to do that. And looking forward to the process.